All right, are we set? Well, good afternoon. We had scheduled today an update to the community and a report on the first 3 quarters of this year and the city's crime rates and what we've done. And at 7:30 this morning, we had a teenager killed and another one shot. We had our 133rd homicide victim of the year. And while that's dramatically lower than we have seen, every single one is a painful loss of a member of this community. And it's a reminder to us why we have to keep doing what we're doing and making progress. What we're going to see is the full force of all the law enforcement resources here to make sure we get the shooters in today's case, as we have been doing. Chief Beddison will take you through the numbers, but the collective efforts of these groups over the last few years have produced a reduction of 40% in homicides, 50% in shootings, and 67% in carjackings. But what we have been trying to do is instill a culture of accountability, both on the Detroit Police Department side and on the community side. When I started as mayor, we had a homicide clearance rate of less than 30%. We had a non-fatal shooting clearance rate of 15%. Now you think about that, 5 out of 6 people who shot somebody got away with it. And we were saying to the community that we don't value life when 5 out of 6 aren't investigated and aren't caught. But what you have seen over the years is all of these groups pulled together, and now the chief is running clearance rates well above 60% in all of those categories. But we have had to pull together challenge after challenge. We were making progress on a culture of accountability in the city. And then COVID hit, and the court shut down. And you had people charged with crimes who didn't have a trial for 2 to 3 years. Sheriff Washington had to release dangerous people from the jail for lack of space. We completely lost the culture of accountability during COVID. But with the help of County Executive Evans, who pulled together Chief Frizard from the Circuit Court and my friend from the 36th District Court, Chief McConico, and the state, all of us came together and said, we're going to get this docket down. And prosecutors were these people, worked day and night. We got rid of the backlog of 3,000 people, and an amazing thing happened. Accountability came to the system, and the violence started to come down in a dramatic way. And I want to say to the Detroit Police Department, which has been terrific every step of the way, you saw in 2024, early in the summer, we had a spike of shootings at these illegal street parties that were going on till late in the evening. And it seemed like it was out of control. The Detroit Police Department set up the mobile field force and said, we're not going to tolerate it. And the last half of last summer, the violence went way down. Early on in this summer, we saw shootings among teenagers in a way we hadn't seen. The Detroit Police Department came in with a curfew and with the partnerships of our CVI groups, which 2 years ago we took the most dangerous areas of the city and we went to groups who were trusted and said, we have to do more than arrest people. Let's get folks to sit down, work out their beats. Let's show them the education and job training programs. And now we'll take this culture from both sides. We'll show people positive developments as well as the consequences. And this summer, we had more resources than we've seen in all the times I've been here, back to the time I was prosecutor. Because the federal government weighed in. Prosecutor Worthy put prosecutors in 7 different precincts, which has helped raise the conviction rate on gun cases. But this year, the U.S. Attorney, for the first time in my lifetime, embedded federal prosecutors in 7 of our precincts to work the gun cases. And in exchange, Chief Beddison sent 2 of the top crime analysts out of DPD over to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Then the ATF and the DEA have dramatically ramped up efforts. Some of the gang violence came to a significant halt in August when we had a raid partnering with the sheriff and the prosecutor, but ATF and DEA and the feds went and hit 11 houses and took 43 illegal weapons out of suspected gang members' homes. And in the month of September, a month that usually is one of the most violent in the city, usually sees 20 to 25 homicides, we had 8. It's the lowest number we have on record. But each one of those 8 was a loss to this community. And so we wanted to come here. I wanted a day where I could say thank you to every one of these agencies for what you have done. When I was a prosecutor, all these groups fought with each other. Part of the time I was mayor, some of these groups fought with each other. But for the last 3 years, I know they go to the national conferences. You had an instance in a major city where a police officer shot the CVI member. There were that much hostility between them. We have a partnership between CVI and the police that's unlike any place in America. And I would say to the people of the city of Detroit, this doesn't happen in 1 year. This is a change in a culture of accountability that happens over years, but we've included it in your numbers. Judge Frazar, come on up. You've been responsible for a lot of this. Is look at the carjacking numbers from 2013, and we have dropped 88% in carjackings. You go back to 2013, and there was a culture in this town, if you needed a few bucks, you stuck a gun in somebody's face and you stole their car. And nobody bothered to do anything about it. It seemed impossible. 15 carjackings a week in this city. And now we're down to less than 2 because we put in the green lights. We put in the real-time crime center. And all of the agencies here work together. And now there's a culture of accountability. People in this town know if you take a car, there's an extremely good chance that helicopters are going to track you and you're going to spend years in prison. We have changed this over time by getting people to make different decisions. And over time, we're going to get people to make different decisions on guns. It's already happening in the last 3 years in a remarkable way. And with that, I want to turn it over to the man who's been leading the effort, our great police chief, Todd Bettison.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to thank the folks who are standing with me. I got a lot of friends, and so that's what makes the difference in the city of Detroit. We all pull and lean on each other. And so I'm going to go through the slides. As the mayor already stated, the third quarter, we look at our homicide numbers from 2022 to today, you see the percentage, 41% reduction in homicides. But look at the whole numbers. In 2022, we had 223 homicides. And you can see year after year with the trend going down, down, down. And that's been based off the hard work of law enforcement. It's been based off the hard work of everyone. City Council investing in ensuring that we have the resources that we need as a department. The phenomenal men and women of the Detroit Police Department working hard in each and every day. You know, it just doesn't get better when we lean on our technology, the shot spotter, license plate readers, just the Board of Police Commissioner when it comes to improving our policies. And so this is a collaborative effort between federal, between state, between local, and let's not forget our community, who we have an excellent relationship with. When you talk about police and community, it really is the unbeatable team. So as the police chief, I have to be the luckiest police chief in America because when I'm standing, I got all my friends standing behind me, and these are the type of results that we're delivering in Detroit, and we will continue on to push it down, down, down. And so the third quarter compared to 2024, and we're here at 2025, from January to September 30th, we're down 15% in homicides. And you can look at the whole number and see exactly what that means. But last year, we had historic lows, and so we're beating those trends. The next slide, which is even a bigger number, are non-fatal shootings. Just take a look at that. In 2022, we had 727 non-fatal shootings. That is a shooting where an individual got shot, but they actually survived. If you go down to 2025, we're at 366, which is a 50% reduction compared to 22, and a 22% reduction when you look at third quarter compared to the previous year. The men and women of the Detroit Police Department and this collaborative partnership that we have is paying results. And we're going to continue on because we're not waving the flag of success. There's much work to do, but the strategies that we are implementing, what we are doing is working, but we're not going to stop. It's about continuous improvement, and so you will see us adding more, and my favorite word is A-N-D. We're going to do this and that and this and continue on until we get the violence in this city down to a level that we all agree that we're one of the safest big cities in America. The next slide, carjackings. This is what the mayor was speaking of. I remember even in the 90s, Mr. Mayor, they had to actually have a carjacking task force, and we had a unit called the Carjacking Task Force in the 90s. But in the early 2000s, you go back to 2022, we had just an astronomical number of carjackings. Going back to 2013, but in 2022, it was 292 carjackings. In 2025 third quarter results, we're down to 64. We're talking about from 2022 to now, a 67% reduction. And last year we had record numbers in lows and carjackings, and now we're down to 29%. This is the slide that I want you all to really take a look at, because it lets you know Detroit with what we're doing, what we can achieve. We broke the back of carjackings in the city of Detroit. In 13, look at that number right there, 537 carjackings. It was carjack city, but by being innovative, coming up with programs and utilizing technology such as Greenlight and other technology as well. Today, in 2025, we have 64 carjackings and an 88% reduction. So I just want to let everyone know, thank you. I just want to let you know that with the partnership that we have, we're collaborative, and that's our pledge, to continue to be collaborative, to utilize every tool possible to make Detroit the safest big city in America, and I'm confident that we can get there. At this time, I'll bring up our U.S. SAC from the ATF, Mr. Jimmy Deere, James Deere.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Deere. I'm the special agent in charge for ATF Michigan. Normally I come to these and I give some heartfelt thoughts, but I don't have a lot of notes to talk about, but today I want to come prepared. So today is about partnerships, about collaboration, and about accountability. We are holding shooters accountable, firearms traffickers accountable. The partnership with DPD, the Michigan State Police, Michigan HIDA, the FBI, DEA, and HSI is imperative. This partnership is the backbone of this strategy. Now, I'll tell you, Chief Beddison likes to communicate with you all saying that he's got the full weight and faith of the alphabet police. We all know what that is. That's the ATF, the FBI, and the DEA. But I'll remind you that the alphabet begins with A. I'll remind you that any firearm strategy begins with the ATF. We're the only federal agency that has gun in its name. We are the gun police. Make no mistake about it. When it comes to crime in this city, at times it's unbearable. At times, when I first got here in 2018, it looked like an insurmountable task. 2019, we had Operation Legend, where federal resources were purged into this city. You look at where we are now as compared to Operation Legend, homicides are down 32%, non-fatal shootings down 36%. And we have leaders that want to compare Detroit because of our demographics, our city, the makeup of our people, and our grit to Boston. Boston didn't happen overnight. Their public safety successes did not happen overnight. That's 30 years in the making. Since 1996, they've been at it. We've been at it a short time here, and we're coming. And we're coming along well. It is a widely established fact in academia and in law enforcement that a small percentage of the population commits a large percentage or a disproportionate amount of crime. And that is true here. So how do we identify this small faction? I'll tell you, I'll give you a little free lesson in police work, which normally we don't do, because there's no free lessons in police work. We used to take targets of opportunity operating in the community and go after them. These are really low-lying fruit, people that really may or may not have an impact. But we were looking for outputs rather than outcomes. This team wants outcomes for the city of Detroit because all Detroit lives matter. And when you look at this, how do we do it? How does ATF do it? ATF is one of the first federal agencies to be data-driven through crime gun intelligence. Most people look at that term and go, wow, what is that? NIBIN, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. That is our system to track prolific shooters in this city. That is our system to link guns to shooting events and to give investigators meaningful investigative leads. That is what we do. That is who we are. That is our DNA. We've got a crime gun intelligence center that takes those leads, funnels them to our partners, the Detroit Police Department, to Michigan State Police, and whatnot, and across the state. Each shell casing left behind at one of these violent gun crime scenes, at a homicide or a non-fatal shooting, tells a tale, tells a story for us to follow. There's information to be garnered. So you probably are asking, well, what's ATF doing? What's their role in all this mess? ATF has got agents assigned to precincts across this city. Every precinct has ATF agents assigned as part of their area of responsibility. I have supervisors interfacing with the leaderships of those precincts to identify prolific shooters. My Crime Gun Intelligence Center reviews every gun arrest in this city. Last year, there was 2,551 that we reviewed. We're looking for links. We're looking for information, firearm trafficking patterns. We're asking the who, the why, the what, the how. And our partners with DPD have complemented this, and we complement them in their efforts to do the same thing citywide. Michigan State Police is right there with us, hand in hand as well, statewide, doing the same thing. The work is immense, but the payoff is unbelievable if we get there. ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter is crime gun intelligence. ShotSpotter, the mayor made an incredible investment in this city and put his faith in the police department to do it right. There's a lot of communities out there that want to talk about ShotSpotter being this and that. ShotSpotter is a tool to identify gunfire. That's all it does. It's non-discriminate, except when machine guns are used. And machine guns are all too often being used in our community. Y'all look at me like, machine guns, what? We've got machine guns, conversion devices that are being sold from China to adolescents, to anybody across this country, and they're being used as weapons of mass destruction. So I'm going to use this platform today to brag about the work a little bit. So I called ATF National, Mr. Mayor, and I told them about the work we're doing, and they said, how can we help? How can we help and assist? And I said, I need some super crime dogs. That's what I need. I need crime dogs. That's what I need. Mr. Totten, Mr. Lennon, please come up here so I can introduce my two crime dogs. I introduce you to Willow, and I introduce you to Kate. They call her Crazy Kate. They're both explosive accelerant dogs. They sniff out shell casings left at violent shooting scenes. This is what they do. This is what we need here with ShotSpotter. Now, you say, well, how busy can they be? They average 80 shootings a month. We did 959 shootings last year. Non-fatal shootings where we got alerted. And that's the day after or the day of the event, they're responding looking for shell casings. That's all they do. That is their job. That is their mission. That is their focus. They'll pull the casings, enter them into NIBIN, and then those casings are going to tell us a tale. They're going to connect these events with other events and give investigators the information necessary to solve these crimes. Now you ask, why does this matter, right? I'll tell you why it matters. Because with data, I can tell you what we're hunting. I can tell you what we're going for. I can tell you what a shooter looks like here in Detroit. With data, I'm armed with information. The typical shooter in Detroit is 29 years old when we intersect with them. They have 2 prior felony convictions, and they have experimented with drug use, illegal drug use. Also, we have linked them to 10.43 shootings in this city and across the region. That's when we intersect. These are cases of consequence. This is what matters to what ATF does. This is our wheelhouse. Then we've got the U.S. Attorney, Jerome Gorgon. I don't know where you're at, sir. Somewhere. The U.S. Attorney has been steadfast in his commitment in this program and giving us prioritized federal prosecution for anybody with a NIBA-linked gun. We are putting people in jail. So, Mr. Mayor, to your point, accountability matters, and it's coming. And as a fellow promise keeper, I like what you say on that. As a fellow promise keeper to all the shooters and all the firearms traffickers, you have been misinformed when you have been told repeatedly by the media that we are not going to prosecute our way out of this. We're coming for you.
All right, that's going to be a hard act to follow right there. As I get ready to bring up Colonel James F. Grady of the Michigan State Police, who is also a friend and always there when I call. They're responsible for so much, and I definitely appreciate the extra air unit, the airship, the eyes in the sky. Colonel Grady.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chief Beddison. I appreciate the invite. An honor to be here, standing among so many great leaders here in the city of Detroit. You know, protecting communities is a top priority for the Michigan State Police. And in law enforcement, if you're going to do it right, the theme has been collaboration, this is how you do it. The Michigan State Police is committed to working alongside our colleagues at the Detroit Police Department, and together with our federal partners and local partners to tackle crime and improve public safety outcomes in the city of Detroit and across our great state. With these results, it is clear and evident that through the crime statistics that have been announced today, you can expect to see the partnership between our agencies with the ongoing goal of improving public safety and traffic safety here for the residents in the city. As a law enforcement professional, I would also like to remind you that it should be a deep collaboration with our community members, faith and neighborhood organizations, and local businesses to build that trust that is needed, the transparency and the accountability. You need that. Otherwise, you don't get the numbers that you are seeing here today. By co-creating safety strategies, investing in our youth programs, and prioritizing de-escalation and data-informed policing, we can reduce violence and still uphold people's civil rights. A genuine partnership is rooted in open dialogue, and that takes place here. Accountability and shared responsibility. We will create a safer neighborhood and a more resilient city. Everyone, at the end of the day, they deserve to feel safe in their home, safe in their block, and on the roadways that they travel. So through this continued cooperation and the dedication among all of the agencies that you see here today, we will continue to work together for a more secure Detroit and, by extension, a more secure Michigan. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Colonel Grady. And at this point, I want to introduce the CEO of the County of Wayne, and who's really the architect of a collaboration, a partnership that has been supportive of the goal of reducing violent crime in the city of Detroit by pulling together all of us, prosecutors, the courts, et cetera, Wayne County Sheriff, and just being there, who was also a former chief of police of the Detroit Police Department and a former sheriff of the Wayne County Sheriff, my good friend, CEO Warren Evans.
Thanks, Chief, and thank all of you. Couple things I think are important for people to understand. The collaboration here is huge, and particularly with the CVI group. So it's not just law enforcement collaborating, but it's law enforcement collaborating with community folk who are trying to help us do what the mayor talked about earlier, was get people to change their decision making. That decision making has got to change, and it's difficult when you're not a part of that community in a very solid way to be able to do that. If I were to design a criminal justice system, I don't think I could make it more complicated than the one we have. State level, federal level, bunch of agencies, prosecutors, U.S. attorneys, sheriffs, local county officials, it is almost designed to be difficult. Having said that, I want you to look at the people to my left and my right and say they broke that complication up by being able to partner with each other, by having long-standing relationships with each other. And I think part of it, too, is the having some criminal justice background has helped significantly. You know, the mayor was a prosecutor. You know, I had some law enforcement background. Todd Betteson's been with the police department forever. And I don't want to just single out certain people, but that's critical. And when you got a city council and a county commission that understand the priorities of making a city safe and understanding that their support is important, not just this support, but really putting their backs into supporting communities and supporting police officers and supporting prosecutors, even our U.S. attorney. I mean, he's a Detroiter. Many haven't been, but he is. He has a feel for this city. He has a feel for things that I think are important to all of us. And so rather than being windy and talking all day, I just want you to appreciate the strength and conviction of the people standing around here, because it's not one person show. It is a team effort. And the last thing I'll say is to show you that that's the case. When we compare numbers, we compare reductions from the year before. That's right. It's not all heaped in a bowl and then you try to find, the best number you can at the end of the day. We are concerned with reducing the numbers substantially every year. And sometimes that means you change gears, because not one thing works all of the time. But the friendship and the seriousness of the folks here, we can sit down and chop it up and figure out what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, and have the passion to continue to do it well. So thank you for the time. I appreciate being here.
Oftentimes when folks think about crime and crime reduction, it's centered on police. And then sometimes they'll think about the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, but oftentimes the courts are left out. But I just want to bring up Chief Judge of Third Circuit Court, Patricia Broussard, who's been instrumental in ensuring that justice is done in a speedy way by clearing up the backlog and just being just phenomenal when it comes to running the court. So, Chief Judge Broussard.
First of all, I had no idea I was going to be called up, but if Chief Bedeson has friends, we know why. He has been phenomenal, strong, and I am so very proud to be with all these men and women here today, because the collaboration, the cooperation, and the dedication have brought us to champion the issues that we all want, is for Detroit to be safer and Detroiters to be safer. Wayne County Circuit Court is the largest court in the state. All of the felonies in this city come to Wayne County Circuit Court, and as the representative of Wayne County Circuit Court, I can assure you that although we want to preserve people's rights, we also want to make Detroit safe for all of its citizens, and so we're so happy and proud to be here with these people. and I am very appreciative of them and respect all of them so much. Glad to be a part of the team.
We also have another court in town. It's called 36th District Court. And I think that's one of the busiest district courts in the country. And so your chief judge of 36th District Court, William C. McConaughey.
As Chief Frizara stated, I didn't know I was speaking either, but I'll say something very brief. From the first time that Sheriff, taking you back to being Sheriff, Executive Warren Evans and Mayor Duggan brought us together, we met and we said that we were going to have trust in the room, and the only thing that we were going to do is try to have an equal justice system and protect our citizens. While we have law enforcement here, courts were impartial. And what our job was to do was to set up a system that was efficient. And I just want to give you just an example of how our courts stay nimble. This summer, at the beginning, as the mayor was stating, there were some block parties. There were juveniles that were at parties at 3 a.m. where there were shootings. And there was a thought that we needed to impose a curfew and that there needed to have some accountability. The Detroit City Council passed an ordinance after a lot of deliberation to work not only for a curfew, but for accountability for the parents who were not supervising their children. There was a lot of discussion about whether they were going to criminalize citizens who were innocent and we were going to have some sort of mass incarceration. But I met with the members of the City Council. We talked, and I assured them that our judges would make sure these cases were prioritized, which we have, but also that if there was a parent that was not supervising their kids, that we were not looking to incarcerate them, but that we had resources, parental classes, different things that can bring certain accountability. And what the court is going to do today and is going to do in the future, if there's something that happens that we have to shift resources, when there was a gun backlog, and from our meeting, I created a gun docket to make sure that gun cases were prioritized, and there was a judge that only handled gun cases. When we needed to do this with the ordinance dealing with curfews, the curfew part with the juveniles would be handled by Wayne Circuit, and we were going to take care of the parents. Priority was given. And so if there is something that can bring efficiency and justice in our city, our court, 36th District Court, will be efficient, and we will change resources, and we are going to make sure that the community knows that we're doing it for the benefit of the city. And so I thank this group of people, the trust that we've built between us, and the mayor is right. I go back, I was a state representative 25 years ago. You couldn't get state reps to meet with city council members, more or less meet with the mayor, to bring a police chief, a judge together. It didn't happen. We were all in silos. But if you look here now, that's why the crime stats are different. That's why there's trust in the courts, trust in the juvenile system. And it's because of the work of the men and women behind us right now. And I say 36th District Court is going to stand to be the best district court, not only in the state of Michigan, but in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Judge. And consistent with the Wayne County theme, we have your Wayne County Sheriff, Raphael Washington, who not only runs one of the biggest jails, I think the biggest jail in the state, largest, and he also oftentimes reminds me that the city of Detroit sits within Wayne County. So he says that he's actually more important than I am. But my good friend, Raphael Washington.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief. The Chief tells me that. I just have to remind him, that's all. However, we're talking about collaboration today, and I just want to let you all know how we, at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, gets that done with the Detroit Police Department. So this summer, we provided our assistance to a range of precincts, including the 2nd Precinct throughout the other precincts to the 12th Precinct with the Detroit Police Department. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office was responsible for conducting 761 traffic stops in these areas. During this time, we made 129 arrests and provided additional resources, including our K-9 unit and our dozen or two other units that we have available to the chief. So we have a program called SCOUT. It's Sheriff's Community Organized Urban Team. And what we do is go out every single Thursday during the summer and deal with quality of life issues, because we feel if we can take some of those, if we could attack some of those issues, then it will distract and take away the major issues that respond to that after those quality of life issues have been committed. So we've been doing that, and we're proud of doing that because, again, it does, in fact, work when other people see other agencies out with Detroit Police Department dealing with issues, quality of life issues, morality issues, speeders, drifters, things like that that turn into major crimes. It works when the community see us out there and getting it done with them. So we maintain an excellent working relationship with our partners, Detroit Police Department, which is fostered by open communication from the top down. Chief Bettison and I always keep an open line of communication. So whatever the request is from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, from Chief Bettison, we will always be there to assist you and to help you with whatever you need. You know, I answer the phone when you call, and I always will. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
The next person that I'm about to bring up is very, very special and represents the Detroit City Council as the council president. But at the end of the day, the police department's budget that gets approved and all of the ideas that we have and things that we have to implement, whether it comes to technology, officer raises, so thank you. I just want to publicly thank her because I got some hardworking men and women out there, and I got one of the best teams in the whole country. So at this point, I want to bring up your council president, Mary Sheffield.
Thank you so much. Chief, you kind of stole my thunder a bit on what I was going to say, but in all honesty, it is a privilege to be here. I am extremely proud and grateful for the progress that we collectively have made here in the city of Detroit. There is no doubt that the last 12 years, this city has become more safe. And we know that one life lost is still far too many. But we can acknowledge the progress, the spirit of collaboration that we have fostered, the partnerships with community and law enforcement to celebrate that we are making this city more safe. And it takes strong leadership on every level to do that. And so I am here proud, starting council in 2012 and seeing the growth and the progress of this collaboration come to play is something that we all should be proud of. I also want to say that I want to thank DPD, our chief, our mayor, our federal agencies, our state agencies, the courts, and our CVI groups for the tremendous amount of work that they're doing day in and day out. City Council, Councilmember Young and Councilmember Benson are here today. We stand as a partner in the collaborative effort that has been fostered here in the city of Detroit. As was mentioned, council is the entity that approves the contracts. We approve the technology, the resources, the laws that are put in place that give the police department the tools and the resources for them to be effective. But we also, as a council, have really been driving the fact that not only do we want to foster a change in behavior and accountability, we also want to push for opportunities. And while we definitely support our DPD in their efforts, we also must continue to address the social issues. And this council has been steadfast in improving programs like Jumpstart, that Member Young sponsored, Skills for Life, Earn to Learn. We also have been pushing to open and expand our rec centers for later hours, all in partnership to address a holistic approach to how we address violence in the city of Detroit. And so I just want to say I am grateful that we are all coming together. We are saving lives. We are making this city more safe. We know that there's still more work to do, but we have made a tremendous amount of progress. We believe, I just wanted to mention the chief. I see him out doing his walk a mile Wednesday. To have our chief boots on the ground, walking up to doors, talking to our young people, connecting them with resources, I think is so key. I also had the privilege of attending the CVI basketball league that was started. And we have parents in our youth coming together in areas when oftentimes they're not even talking. I just think it's so powerful. And for the last 12 years, I've occupied our corners in Detroit, connecting young people with resources and opportunity, promoting Project Clean Slate that is expunging the records of so many of our residents. We all have done so much, and nothing is more important than the other. Big or small, it all contributes to the progress that we've seen today. And so I believe that the foundation of any community is public safety for our city to thrive, and we are doing the work needed. I am proud of the progress, and I'm looking forward to save more lives and ensure that this city is the safest city in this country. So thank you.
We have two more speakers at this particular point. I do have another boss as well. I have the Board of Police Commissioners. And so I want to bring up Vice Chair Commissioner Darrell Woods to say a few remarks.
This is a beautiful day in the city of Detroit where you have all of these wonderful leaders who have come together to bring healing and restoration in our city. This mayor has been a champion for peace in this city. This police chief is my friend and my brother and my comrade, and I have walked these streets with him. We wrapped our arms around hurting people, and we have been able to deliver resources to the people who have been suffering. The county executive is just a premier leader. He is a powerful leader. He's a man's man, and he has done so many great things to be able to bring resources to this city. And so all of my CVI brothers and sisters, because it's not just brothers doing this, but sisters doing the work as well, they are out there wrapping their arms around those coming out of the juvenile justice system, making sure that they have homes to live in, make sure that they have transportation, making sure that they have jobs. These children in our community don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care, and this is the caring team right here, right in this place right now, and we're going to continue to spread the love in the city of Detroit because we are one Detroit, we are unified, and I want to take my hat off to the federal partners who has been exemplary to be able to bring resources and letting folks know that you would not get away with the crunch because the crunch will always give you away. So that might go over your head, but you can't get away. So put down the guns and continue because we're going to do better than Boston. We're gonna do better with Boston because we have a team back here who's going to work very, very hard to make sure that happens. And so we are glad as the Board of Police Commission that we do have our Commissioner Willie Burton is here and Commissioner Tamara Smith here. We have approved technology. We have approved technology to make sure that this department has the resources and the tools that it needs to be able to continue to drive crime down. And so, again, thank you for your leadership, Council President. You're a sister of mine. Judge Fashad, that's my sister, and all other folks that's here, Kona Grady. I've worked with him to get Glock switches off the streets with young people who have turned in Glock switches because of the resources from him and Warren Evans to be able to bring them to the task force. We had turned in guns, a bag full of guns to this department that children said that they want to change their lives. So let's keep on keeping on. Let's keep on rocking.
And now we're to our last speaker, and then we'll open it up for questions. But when it comes to the community violence intervention groups, you've all seen the data, you've heard, but I'm telling you that they interrupt and prevent violence before it happens. But when violence does happen, oftentimes it's a spirit of retaliation. And so they get in to interrupt and break down that cycle of violence, and it's been working tremendously here in the city of Detroit. And so at this point, I would like to bring up DeJuan Zoe Kennedy from Force Detroit.
Thank you. I never could have imagined this day. where we drastically reducing fatal and non-fatal shootings. We've been talking, our elected officials, mayor's office, city council, DPD, about being the model. But we exemplify what public safety looks like.
That's right.
Across the country, you don't see this.
That's right.
You don't see community dealing with law enforcement. You don't see elected officials supporting and committing to what community needs. Let me tell you a few things that have been a result of this commitment. We have changed policy in the schools where individuals with backgrounds can go inside the schools. We have changed policy on a state level where it's funding for CVI in schools. We have changed policy. We have set up offices, and we also have advocated for public safety for our law enforcement. But it's not done yet because we need sustainable funding. We have had a historical reduction last year, 203 homicides, which was too many. Now we're at 130. That says something. It's a lot going on with a few years with this stuff in place. I want to give thanks ultimately, well, first and foremost, to the community.
That's right.
Because it's a trust thing.
That's right.
Right? And it's layers to that. And the reason why we move and how we moving with this community-based violence intervention, with these community-based solutions, because we trust our elected officials and our chief. He on the ground. Our city is loved, and that's what y'all should see when you see all these people standing here together. Accountability comes with love.
That's right.
But support comes with it as well.
That's right.
We are here to support. We are here to make sure you stay in your homes and not wind up in a cell. We are here to make sure you stay up in your homes and not wind up in a casket.
Come on now.
Don't nobody want to see that.
That's right.
And it's not right. It has been support. We have way more to fight for, but it is support for our communities to have an alternative to a destructive lifestyle. And I just want to thank everyone up here for allowing community the opportunity to establish ourselves in a way that's beyond legitimacy. Beyond legitimacy.
That's right.
We've been legit. We've been legitimate community leaders. But this is beyond legitimacy because it's supported. I often say, before it was a fire department, it was a bunch of community members riding around with water, putting out fire. Right? And that's what community-based violence intervention is. And we will exemplify that, and we will become the model across the nation. They will come to the city to see what we've done. Because just as it's community violence, it is political violence. And I think that our elected officials exemplify what it looks like for politics and community and law enforcement to coexist and execute in a real fashion of public safety in the trust of the community. So I thank you all for the opportunity. We won't let y'all down.
All right, so at this point, we'll open it up for questions.
To the council president, I got your email this morning from you and Fred about all of the activities going on in the city, which is great. The mayor seemed to think I make it personal. There's 8 to 10 black newspapers in Detroit, and I see no ads about the activities. But we expect people to know where they are. Tomorrow there's a job fair. Wednesday there's something. All the way to the end of the month. All the way to the Halloween. It's not about personal. It wasn't personal when he gave $300,000 to his mistress. Don't make it personal when I need revenues for, let's just be, y'all get all day long. I need to know if the council would take it serious. Would you please be quiet? You ain't doing nothing but give out certificates.
Gary, this is not the press conference.
I just like to know how we're going to publicize the good things that's happening in the city of Detroit for people. Wait, hold on. can,
pay attention to newspapers, they pay attention to social media. So she has a way of being able to get.
there's two ways, there's more than one way to get to people.
Yep.
And if people are
That-
picking up the
Gary-
paper,
Gary-
I'm just asking, are we going to use all avenues to
That
get to the
question-
people?
Gary, that question is not, this press conference is not about that, so.
If it's about us keeping crime down, we got to give the alternative of where crime is down. And that is giving opportunities for people to know about opportunities in our community.
That's another place, space, and time.
Y'all wrong for that. It's not.
Okay. Next person, next reporter.
Wow. My name's Darylyn Horn. I work for WWJ. Obviously, these CVI groups are very effective, and we saw a press conference last week about funding being at risk. How is that going to be addressed?
So I am pleased that at least the legislature put in some of the money on Public Safety Trust. It is going to allow us to continue for another year. And I understand Council President is preparing an ordinance to dedicate 50% of the new money to the CVI groups, and I'll let her speak to that.
No, I mean, we were proud of the leadership in Lansing representing Detroit to bring that funding home to sustain the very important work that CVI is doing. As you all know, in the areas and zip codes that they're in, I think it's anywhere between a 30 to 50% reduction in crime. And so we're going to do whatever we can as a council. I think even in our last budget, we added additional fund to make sure that those programs sustained. And so we are all hands on deck to support CVI and to ensure that that program continues.
So, earlier this year, we expanded from 22 to 30 square miles. We're going out for request for proposal right now for another 6 square miles because of the state funding, and I hope to get that awarded by the end of the year. But that's what we've done. We've taken the 30 square miles of the city that was most dangerous, and you just look at the before and after numbers, and it's been dramatic what they've accomplished.
Okay. And then there was a shooting today. 2 kids shot. Someone at my station asked, were these 2 separate incidents? And also, what is the status of everything?
Yep, so it happened at approximately 7:48 this morning. Detroit police got a shot spotter alert where it was multiple rounds that had been fired. When officers got there, also a 911 call came in as well, but when officers got there, they saw 2 juveniles or teens that had suffered gunshot wounds. 14-year-old did not survive. The other individual was 17 years old, and he did survive. And so right now, it's an open investigation, but witnesses stated that a blue Lincoln truck, SUV-type truck, that's where the shots came from. So the vehicle rolled down the street, opened fire on a group of young folks. And so we do have witnesses. We do have some video assets. And just like I promised before, with the technology and with the best detectives in the country, I'm very, very confident that we will have the persons responsible very, very shortly for that.
All right. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello, this one's to the ATF SAC. On the 2 dogs, what would you call? They're not bomb sniffing dogs, but what would you call those?
I'd call them dynamite.
I mean, just
They are explosive accelerant canines.
and what do they do on these?
They're sniffing for explosive accelerants. When a primer is ignited in a firearm and the shell casing's extracted from the gun and left behind at scene, those dogs can find it.
They can tell you where. Okay, they
Yeah.
find it in the shell.
They
And do
deployed. Give you an example. They deployed up at Rochester Splash Park shooting,
Okay.
and they found shell casings in the shrubs, in the grass that even law enforcement couldn't find.
And they confined to the Detroit SAC, or do they work across the country?
Or they work for me.
just in this area.
Those 2 pooches do.
Okay, so now you said last year there were 959 times that they went out to non-fatal shootings. According to DPD's numbers, there were only 469 up to the 3rd quarter. That's a difference of 490.
These
and
are-
statewide, there were 890 shootings in the state last year. So how could they have gone to 959 if there were only 890 in the whole
Because
state?
they get deployed throughout. Whenever there's a gun, whenever somebody calls 911 and says there was a gunfire in this area, they triangulate the area, whether it's shot spotter initiated or not, and they go out there and sniff for the shell casings. Now, whether or not that's the right area, I can't tell you.
But there were I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there were
We did
959
959.
reports of shootings that they went to.
Shootings with shots fired.
Gotcha.
So you're saying that they responded to 900, I'm confused, just to the shot
I
fired,
am
not the
saying
shooting?
that our dogs responded to
Okay.
959 calls for service
Okay,
as it
that cleared it
relates
up.
to shots fired.
Thanks, that cleared up my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
And if I can, this is one of the great innovations. The police department pushed ShotSpotter, and there's been like national stories about whether you get there in time for an arrest. Every single time we get a ShotSpotter alert, we go to get the casings and put them in the NIBIN system. And so we are working hand in glove. And the number of cases that we have made, somebody thought they were just shooting off a gun with nobody around, and we went out and got casings. But that's the level of thoroughness here. Every time shots are fired, we are responding even if there are no victims.
To your point, Mr. Mayor, anytime there's a shots fired, like somebody goes out in their backyard, or New Year's Eve you have shots fired, we are responding and we're looking for shell casings. Those shell casings, that's a free shot at us for intelligence. Those shell casings may tell a story of that gun being involved in another crime. And that's why we do it. That's why we're invested so heavily in those.
Anything else? Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Cameron. I'm from the Christian Science Monitor. My question is for the mayor. So President Donald Trump has been sending National Guardsmen to cities that he perceives as unsafe, with the most recent example being Portland. My question is, if that were to happen to Detroit, would you accept it?
Yeah, so I am a great believer that the way that you reduce crime in the long term is you change to a culture of accountability. You change individuals' decision makings so that they don't pack the gun in the first place, that they don't go out to retaliate, that they don't use guns in connection with their activities. That has, I think every law enforcement person here would agree with me. And so from day one, what we have done is try and change decision making. It is working. Had you deployed the National Guard, again, in this city, you're talking about 144 square miles. I doubt anybody would have had the National Guard at 7:30 on a Monday morning at Littlefield in West Chicago. That's not a practical way to do it, but I can assure you that right now our CVI groups are figuring out who might be looking to retaliate against somebody and intervening. What we are doing is working. Police departments from across the country are coming to see the record crime drops and adopt our strategy. And what we have seen in the last 6 months from the federal government in the stepped up ATF, U.S. Attorney, DEA resources, I would welcome more of that because that's what we need to bring down the violence long term.
So to be clear, you would welcome federal agencies such as the ATF, but not necessarily the National Guard?
I would welcome more of the support we're getting. U.S. Attorney, ATF, DEA backing up Detroit Police and the CVI groups. It is, and the point is, it's working. All you have to do is look and say, there are places in the country where different agencies are tearing each other up. You won't find too many places where you are community activists and all your law enforcement are standing together in one place, and the people who benefit are the residents of the city of Detroit.
Okay, thank you.
Just help me out with some numbers if I could. I see here that there are about 203 homicides in 2024, the fewest since 1965. Numbers are going down, great. But there were about 1 million more people in 2006 than the 1965. So my question is, if you just did the per homicide per population, it would seem that we were safer back in 1965 than we are today. So, Mayor, how are we safer today?
I'm not debating 65, but the homicides are down 40% from 2022. Okay, let's talk in what everybody's experiencing. The shootings are down 50% from 2022, and the U.S. Census Bureau finally figured out the population's gone up. So we're making progress on the census side. So I'd say this city is dramatically safer than it has been just a few years ago. And if this group sticks together, it is going to be dramatically safer a few years from now.
Good afternoon, Ebony J.J. Curry, senior reporter for Michigan Chronicle. This is really pointing more towards the community side of things, so Zoe or any CVI leader. Crime is going down, but there are still perceptions from our residents and even non-residents that crime rates are high or even getting worse. How do you combat that narrative, speaking directly to the community?
Well, like I said, the commitment and the cohesion, it's another thing. We have to thank our media. Our media highlights the things we do. We have to thank our city. Our city highlights the things we do. Of course, it's going to be more attention on harm because it's alerting. But when you look at some of the things that's going on, the basketball league that has been created, the advocacy wins, the relationships, the partnerships, you're not going to have media running out to see that you just moved the family into a home, or that you just fed a family, or that you just made sure someone got their GED. It's more attention, or it's more sensationalism around homicides and shootings. So we combat that by owning our narrative, putting out more stories, making sure that we partner with the city of Detroit to be on their page to highlight some of the work that's being done. But when a person is harmed, you got to know that that's going to hit a little harder than it will when a person is being helped.
Absolutely.
Can I add something to that? Chief Bettison called me a couple weeks ago on a Saturday night. If you want to hear a story, looking that 3 children were in grave danger, their mental health issues of an adult, they were not to be seen, they had not been in school, and there wasn't enough information for a warrant. By spending a lot of time together, collaborating and cooperating and looking at what we could do, he moved with his people and our cooperation to move forward and save those children from harm without any arrests or any violence whatsoever. That's the kind of stories that should be written about.
Also, going forward, I'm about to get out of the way. Going forward, we are coordinating with a PR firm for all of the CVI groups to start reaching out to media to highlight our stories. So you can reach out after this and we can get contacts, but we do want to make sure that we own our narrative as it relates to community violence intervention. So we have a PR firm. The PR firm is for our CVI partners, and we will be highlighting some of the stories in the city going forward.
Well, I like to speak as a CVI group. Some people that has not really been represented, but I want to speak just from them, from ears to the ground. We know about boots on the ground. Let's discuss ears to the ground. What I want to say is that we have youth that have been coming to us, to the groups, to these agencies, and they are thankful for these agencies. They feel safer. They are happy that the proper moves are being made so that they don't have to carry guns to protect themselves going to school. When they hear what happened this morning, it puts them at great risk and great danger. And when they see us move like this, it makes them feel safer. So groups have been coming to me, personally, young people, wanting to be involved with chiefs and the mayors and this agency's plan. They are getting involved. They are fighting back. The youth are saying, we want a safer Detroit. And that speaks volume.
Yeah.
My name is Pastor Mo of the Living Peace Movement.
Thank you. Last but not least, as you know, today the state has had a historic funding for CVI groups. With the state now allocating funding to CVI, how would that impact the relationship between the city and the groups doing the CVI work?
So it doesn't impact it at all. As the CVI groups well know, we funded this with American Rescue Plan money that was going to expire next year. And all of us went up to Lansing. How many of you were part of the Lansing lobbying? Okay, so all of us went up to Lansing together to get that funding, and Council President Sheffield intends to introduce an ordinance that half of all the new law enforcement money coming from Lansing is dedicated, so we have a permanent source. So I think I mentioned before, we just expanded from 22 to 30 miles earlier this year. We're going to expand from 30 miles to 36 miles with this new funding, but it will be let by the city of Detroit to the CVI group's structure, just as we have today. It just allows us to expand.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Okay.
And Commissioner Willie Burton wanted me to remind everybody that we have gun locks available at all of our precinct stations as well. So